Hey, I'm Srini. I'm the host and co-founder of Blogcast FM, and I'd like to welcome you back. This is part 2 of the 5-part video series on relationship marketing for bloggers. So before we get into today's concepts, let's just review what we talked about yesterday. We talked about the fact that your first readers really are a lifeline to your digital world, and I gave you 3 different strategies for how to start building relationships with those people. The very first of which was to email that person and thank them for the fact that they visited your blog. The other was to leave a comment on that blog. And the third was to share one of their posts across one of your favorite social networks. Now, remember, I told you to do that for about 15 people, and you'll see how effective that can be. Today, I want to offer you 2 different ways that you can actually deepen that connection with that person. And then what we'll talk about is the power of compounding relationships, one of my favorite subjects. All right, so one of the additional ways that you can create a deeper connection with that person is to link back to something that they've written. And if you remember what I said in the previous video, I said that these kinds of strategies are not going to be as effective with really, really big bloggers as they are with some of the up-and-coming bloggers. In fact, let's say you link back to somebody really well-known who has 1,000 or 2,000 links back to their post. The chance that they're going to notice that you link to them is slim to none, just because that's a lot of links to sort through. So nobody's really going to do that. But let's say you link back to an early-stage blogger, somebody who's just gotten started. They're going to notice, and the chances are they're going to come and visit your blog, and that's a really good thing because that's going to start a dialogue in the comments, and it can expand, and you'll see how all this fits together as we put each video together. The second way that you can actually expand that relationship is to invite them to be a guest blogger in your blog. In fact, some of the best connections I've made online have been with people that I've invited to guest post on my School of Life blog. So again, I want to emphasize that all the concepts I'm telling you about, they seem simple, but let's look at this in the context of time. I said that in your first week that you should email or do this or apply these strategies to 15 bloggers. Now imagine if you did this with 15 people every week for a year. Imagine how big your network would become. And the funny thing is that there's going to be an effect. You're not only going to grow that network, you're going to benefit from that network. There's going to be a compound effect. The same way that you earn compound interest when you put money in a savings account. When you put $20 in an account and it earns 5% interest or whatever it earns, it doesn't seem like much when you first start. But imagine how that adds up over the course of 10 years. Well, relationship marketing works the exact same way. As your network gets bigger, the opportunities start to grow, the effect becomes bigger. So it's what I call the principle of compounding relationships. So this has been part 2 of the 5-part video series on relationship marketing for bloggers. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave them in the comments below. I'll be happy to answer them. And also, if you're interested in a more in-depth exploration of these subjects, I've included a link to my book, Relationship Marketing for Bloggers, and you can pick that up at Blogcast FM.